Hey everyone, it's your favorite Michigan girl, Caitlin. Welcome to this week's installment of Michigan Girl Pop Culture News, which will not just be focused on pop culture news. Well, that will still be the mainstay, but it'll also feature news on current events, stuff that I think is interesting that maybe you guys should know about. I will also start splitting this into 2 videos per week. One will just be the pop culture news recap, and the other one will be my Star Wars Rebels recap and any Star Wars news that's happened throughout the week. That way, these videos aren't like totally ginormously long, and the Star Wars videos can really just be focused on Star Wars, because this is what I started out doing, was just Star Wars videos. So, first off is this week's news. Like I said, not just pop culture news this week, also other stuff that has been interesting. First off, if you're out on the East Coast or in Florida, please, I hope you guys are safe and sound. As I'm sure all of you know, Hurricane Matthew is just pounding away at the East Coast. I'm kind of worried. I have an aunt who actually moved to Florida just this past year, and I have an aunt and 3 cousins who actually live in Baltimore. I don't think Hurricane Matthew is going to go that far north, but I do know my aunt got hit by it, and as far as I know, we have not heard from her yet. So hopefully my Aunt Lenny is safe and sound, and she was able to ride out her first hurricane in relative safety. Of course, the joke is now that she's experienced a Florida hurricane, she'll probably be moving back up to Michigan, which I am so grateful that the worst weather we have to deal with in Michigan is ice storms, which can get pretty nasty, but if you lived here long enough, you know how to deal with them. So hopefully, if you're in Florida on the East Coast, you are safe and sound, and don't do anything stupid. I don't want any of you out there to get hurt. Just follow the instructions, follow your instincts. Just please stay safe. That looks nasty. Also, I don't really get into political stuff. I am a political person. As my thing, I do say I am Christian, so my faith does affect my viewpoints. And I cannot wait for this year's election to be over. I do not like either of the candidates who are running for president, and basically I have followed the attitude of my brother, who he thinks that both Trump and Clinton should step aside and let the VP candidates become the presidential candidates, because they're actually smarter and better. And I think Trump should take that chance after the news that just broke this past week. I had heard about it, but most of the time, I actually have my Blu-ray player plugged in, and I'm on Netflix, I'm on YouTube. I don't really watch the news anymore. I used to, and then the election started, and I stopped. But I turned on my TV last night to watch Rebels, and I turned to the news after Rebels was over, because I usually turn it to Weather Channel before I unplug it, and they were talking about the comments Trump made. At this point, I am trying to understand who exactly would support a man who does that, and Trump has gone on and said, "Oh, it was a mistake. I should never have said that. I totally regret it." I'm going, no. I try never to think badly of a person. I feel sorry for Trump, but I don't think this is just some comment he made once without thinking. I think this is his honest belief, and I think Trump honestly believes that women are just objects and are just there to please him in some way, shape, or form. He has made no secret about how he feels about women's appearances, how he feels about pregnant women in the workplace. And this last comment he made these comments he made are just, I won't even repeat them. I heard them, and I felt sick to my stomach that this is a man who is running for president of the United States, and he is running, part of his thing is he is such a great supporter of women, and yet these comments come out, I'm like, he's not supporting women at all. So, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I'm sorry. If you want, ignore it or bash me in the comments, but be nice, please. I just don't understand how Trump is still running for president, to be honest, so hopefully he gets a hint. Anyway, down with the political news. Let's get on to this week in pop culture. Kind of a slow week, really. We're getting into that phase. We're settling in. It's starting to we're like in 2 or 3 episodes into new shows, new seasons. So it's starting to play out how some of these shows are going to go. One show that is still yet to start its season is Supergirl. Supergirl Season 2 actually starts tomorrow night on the CW. I believe it airs at 8 o'clock. And this season, of course, as they've been told, I've been excited about this. Superman, aka Clark Kent, will be on this season of Supergirl. Definitely check out this trailer. It's absolutely hysterical, especially Kat Graham, played by the wonderful Callista Flockhart. I think that's her name. She is freaking out and tells Kara, "You didn't tell me you knew Clark Kent. Is there anything in my teeth?" And I'm just sitting there going, "Oh my gosh." So I'm really excited. It's going to be interesting, like I said, to see how all of these characters from Supergirl interact with him. They've already announced that with Alex, there's going to be a little there's going to be some friction between her and Clark because Alex basically sees Clark as kind of the neglectful dad, whereas Kara kind of worships the ground Clark rocks on because he's kind of her mentor and role model in being a superhero. So there's going to be friction between Alex, who is Kara's foster sister, who basically helped raise Kara and is Kara's best friend, and she and Kara have been together for years, and Kara's cousin slash, I'm going to call him older brother, because at this point this is pretty much what he is Kara's cousin slash older brother, Clark Kent, aka Superman, who basically brought Kara to the Danvers and went, "Here you go," and took off and left, and has been basically, I think, person non grata is how you say it, in her life ever since. So I can't wait to see the friction between Alex and Clark Kent, especially given the fact that they have talked about the friction, the producers, in interviews. And yet in the trailer, we see none of this friction between Alex and Clark when Supergirl brings Superman to the DEO. In fact, Alex's exact line is, "Your cousin smells good." And I'm like, that doesn't seem like animosity to me. That seems more like Alex is kind of attracted to Clark, to Superman. So it's interesting. Wynn is going to be fanboying out over Superman, as in seeing in the trailer when his one line was, "How do you shave?" And I'm going, carefully? Again, I'm really interested in seeing Clark and Jimmy, because Jimmy Olsen moved. I don't think it's Center City. I don't know where she lived, but he moved got the job at Catco and is working. And when Clark found out he was going there, Clark goes, "Will you keep an eye on Kara? Keep her safe. Here's this thing that if anything happens to Kara, let me know and I will come flying in to save the day." So it's going to be interesting to see how Clark reacts to Jimmy and Kara's relationship. I mean, Jimmy and Clark are best friends, and Kara, like I said, is Clark's cousin slash younger sister. So I'm really excited. Like I keep saying, I kind of thrive on the interactions and relationships between people and characters. So I'm really excited to see. And Supergirl, for me, surprisingly, was when I started watching it, I couldn't believe how all the connections went. I mean, the action is still there, the storyline, but so much of it is focused on the characters themselves, not so much the big explosions and save the day. It's really about the emotional and for me, it's really about the emotional drive of these characters. So I'm really excited to see how all this plays out. And like I said, the new season starts tomorrow on CW. I think it's really interesting that they have moved it from CBS to CW from CBS. But as my brother pointed out, that means CW will now have all the DC TV shows that are currently airing. Will have Supergirl, they have The Flash, The Arrow, DC Heroes of Tomorrow, I think it's called. So they pretty much have all the TV shows out about DC. And of course, the first show they had was Smallville, which was about Clark Kent as a teenager. So it's kind of funny that they had Smallville and now they have Supergirl. So it's like they've moved forward. So it's really awesome. I'm excited. I really can't wait. I put my Supergirl bead back on my charm bracelet. So I am super, super, super excited. I cannot wait for tomorrow night. I'm so happy I have tomorrow off. And I don't go until 2 on Tuesday. So yay, Supergirl. I can't wait to see it. And the first episode is titled The Adventures of Supergirl. So maybe we'll get some sneak peek about what's been hanging on since between this new episode and what happened with Myriad at the end. So I really, really, really hope that this is a case of Jimmy and Kara are dating and they stay together. because that would just suck if they went, oh, we're not dating anymore. No! But yeah, so hopefully Kara and Jimmy are in for the long run. So don't forget, Supergirl tomorrow night on the CW. And let's backtrack to tonight is Sunday, which means it's a new episode of Once Upon a Time. So far, I am really enjoying this season. I said last season it was really hard for me to get into. This season, I really like the theme. Last season, the theme bordered on the darkness inside. Like, every season deals with, like, the darkness inside people. But last season, they made that a really big thing because they had Emma Swan become the Dark One. So it was really this big, huge plot. And then the second half of the season was really what would you do? Basically boiled down to death. How far are you willing to go to save the person you love? Great themes. I feel like those two themes have kind of been part of Once Upon a Time from the beginning. So I just couldn't really get into it when those were like the overarching themes. This season, I love what I believe is turning out to be the overarching theme for at least the first half of the season, which is Untold Stories, which basically is the secrets you keep that you don't want anyone else to know because they could damage everything, ruin your life. So it's basically Untold Stories, the secrets that you keep. And I am so excited for this season. Last week's episode was called A Bitter Draught, and it actually featured the Count of Monte Cristo. For those of you who have never heard of that, the Count of Monte Cristo was a hugely popular novel. It's actually still really popular. About this guy who was betrayed on the day of his marriage to his girlfriend and was basically sent away as a traitor to this island prison where he met another guy who told him about this fortune he had buried on this island. And he was there for years, got off, got the fortune, rebranded himself as the Count of Monte Cristo. Cristo was the name of the island that the treasure was on. And he comes back and spends like decades, like I think it ends up being like almost 20, 30 years of planning his perfect revenge against everybody that he felt has wronged him in his life. And it's like one of the most, I've read some of it. It's really well written. It's actually one of my lifetime goals is to read The Count of Monte Cristo in full. It's actually also one of my goals to read Les Miserables. But I don't know how that will turn out. So it's an amazing story. If you want, you should definitely read it if you're into books like that. So Edmund, the Count of Monte Cristo, was actually on last week's episode of Once Upon a Time because his character, Edmund the Count, was hired by Regina when she was still the evil queen, when they were still in the land of fairy tales, to kill Snow and Prince Charming. He fell in love with the handmaiden, changed his mind, and Rumple came in and saved him in the life of the handmaiden. So, but the evil queen, he's now back because he came with the other characters from the land of Untold Stories, and his job is not yet finished, and the evil queen manages to twist him to go back after Snow and David. And all I will say is what Regina does is, in my mind, is very heroic. Spoiler alert, Regina ends up killing the Count of Monte Cristo to save Snow and David. And Regina is Snow and Charming. And Regina is very upset by this. She's trying to turn her life around. She took out her evil half so that all that remains is the good side of Regina. So she's trying to be good, and one of the first things she does is she kills a man to save the life of the woman, her stepdaughter, who she now basically sees as her sister, and her husband. And she just feels incredibly guilty because she's trying to live a new life, and that's what happens. Well, Snow and David are like, you're totally fine. But it's at the end of the episode where I think we get the theme, which is the Untold Stories, the secrets, when Regina appears and says, Evil Queen appears and says, don't worry. I'm going to watch you guys tear each other apart. She's targeting Regina, and she says she cannot wait to see Regina be torn apart, for Regina to destroy everything, to go back to being dark and evil because of all these secrets that Regina, as the evil queen, knew. And that evil queen, the part that Regina tore out, knows all the secrets that Regina once knew. Regina no longer knows these secrets, these untold stories, because those are part of the evil queen, which keep saying she tore out of her. The evil queen knows them, and this is what the evil queen is using, is threatening them with, that she will reveal these secrets, and these secrets are so devastating that it can destroy everything that they have worked for. And of course, at the same time, Emma is keeping a secret, an untold story herself, in that she hasn't told anybody except Archie about the vision she's received. And she's just recently told Archie she thinks she knows who it is who will end her life. And it's the one person who isn't in her vision. Go check out Emma's vision and let me know if you guys agree. Do you think it is who it is? Let me know. Leave a question, comment below, and tell me how you think the season of Once Upon a Time is stacking up so far. Are you excited with what the theme seems to be? I really like this idea of Untold Stories because it's really been focused on fairy tales, Disney stories so far with like a hint of like Frankenstein and stuff. So I'm really excited to see them delving into these other stories like 2,000 Leagues Under the Sea, The Count of Monte Cristo, and I'm sure there'll be more. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I'm so excited about this theme because I'm such a huge bookworm. So seeing more of my favorite non-fairy tale stories come into this is exciting. I love it. So far, so good for me. Excuse me. Sorry. And now on to Criminal Minds. Yes, I did go back and rewatch the first episode entitled The Crimson King. Oh, and the next episode of Once Upon a Time really quickly is titled The Other Shoe, and it promises to bring for us to see Aladdin and Jasmine. Yay! Anyway, now on to Criminal Minds. I did go and check out The Crimson King. I actually liked it. I'm kind of excited. I read some people online were complaining about Garcia and Alvez's relationship, how Garcia was treating Alvez and being kind of mean and nasty. But I'm not that worried. I do think that in future episodes, we will definitely see Garcia and Alvez become really close to the point where it is almost like Garcia and Morgan, or maybe they become even closer. But I think people are so bothered by it because when the show started out, we did not see that with Garcia and Morgan. We did not see any of those issues. It seems like right away they were really close. And I understand why people are bothered by Garcia being kind of mean and nasty. But at the same time, she and Morgan had a really, really close relationship. They were like best friends, siblings. And the two people who were affected the most by Morgan leaving were Garcia and Spencer. So for Garcia and Spencer, it's going to take some time. Spencer will be able to handle it. He will just go into work mode. Garcia, on the other hand, will take maybe longer because she did have such a longer relationship, such a tight relationship with Morgan. So it's just going to take some time. We might have a few more weeks of Garcia being snippy and nasty and mean, but I'm sure that by midway through the season, she and Alves will be best friends, buddies for life, so we just have to get through it. Last week's episode was entitled 6 Day, and it was a JJ-centric episode. Basically, it was just JJ talking to Will about this really tough case where she ended up not being able to save all the victims. And it really deeply affected her because, of course, it deals with kids and JJ is a mom. But what was most interesting about this episode was Sick Day was the final appearance of Agent Aaron Hotchner, played by Thomas Gibson. That's right. The second episode of this season of Criminal Minds was Gibson's final appearance on the show. And he was hardly in the episode at all. In fact, he barely said any lines, and then he gave no hint. There was nothing. There was no hint that Hotch was going away. Nothing was said. Nada, zip, zilch, zero. So, he simply just told JJ to go home and get some rest, and that was his final scene in the entire show. I actually thought Gibson was going to be on the show for longer. I thought he had filmed more episodes. Turns out, I guess he didn't. So, Sick Day was Gibson's last appearance on Criminal Minds. And next week sees the return of Paget Brewster as Emily Prentice. I'm excited. Okay. So, I know some of you are going, why aren't I more upset about Thomas Gibson? Okay, first off, honestly, I never really liked Hotch. I don't know why. The character of Hotch was an interesting one. It was a compelling character. But on a level, I did not like Hotch. He just always seemed to be either really stern and nose to the grindstone, not having any fun, or he was the total opposite, really loose and free. And I don't understand. I really think after Mandy Patkin, aka Gideon, left. He tried to step up into Gideon's shoes, trying to be a lot like Gideon and being more open and stuff. I just don't think it worked. And after they killed off his wife, I really think at some point that maybe Hotch should have left the show around the time Haley died, instead of just dragging it out for as long as they did. I'm sorry. I just never liked the character of Hotchner, and so I'm a little bummed to see him go, but frankly, I'm not that upset if this is the last season of Criminal Minds just because they take Hotch off the show. So be it. I was more devastated about Morgan leaving the show than I am about Hotch because I liked Morgan more. So actually, funnily enough, I like the character Alvaz a lot more than Hotch, and I've only seen him in 2 episodes. So I'm not that bummed about Hotch leaving. I'm not that bummed about Gibson leaving the show. Tell me what you guys think. Are you guys kind of surprised at how they handled Hotch's final appearance, Gibson's final episode? How do you guys feel about him leaving the show? Leave me a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, and I will get back to them. All right. So, pretty much just a few more pieces of news, and then this one's done for today. Pokemon! Dun-dun-dun-dun! We are only a few days from 1 month until Sun and Moon release. Yay! And at long last, Pokemon has released the latest trailer for Pokemon Sun and Moon, showing the second evolutionary stage of the starters. Okay, for the cat and the owl, not too much of a change, except the owl, his beak goes from being there to going, like, where'd the beak go? So, beak kind of disappears, cat kind of stays same. It's cute. I like the bell. It has a bell around its neck. I'm going, oh, pretty bell. The one that changed, that kind of surprised me was the water type. The evolved form is called, I think it's Biani. It is so pretty. Okay, when they showed the water type starter for Pokemon Sun and Moon, everyone went, "Oh, it's a seal." It looks stupid, and even I was going, it's kind of cute, but I'm really getting drawn toward the owl. And then I see the Bioni, the second stage. I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. It looks like a little ballerina. It's got like a dress and like a skirt, like layered skirt. It goes on. I'm like, oh, I want it. So my starter, I'm still leaning heavily toward the owl because it is a dual type. It is grass and flying, and I like that because it saves space in my my roster, my 6 Pokemon roster. But I don't know, the water type looks pretty, and I will admit it, I do tend to choose cute and pretty Pokemon, so, that water type might win out, but like my brother, I'm gonna wait and see what the final evolutionary stages are before I make my choice. I would love for that final evolutionary stage of the water type starter to be water and ice. I don't know if anyone else has noticed it, but it can be so hard in these Pokemon games to get an ice-type Pokemon. An ice-type Pokemon can be really good. They're really strong against dragon and grass and stuff like that. But it can be so hard to get them because they're really usually only located in one area of the game, and that area can be a huge pain to get through. So I would really love to see that the final evolutionary stage of the starter be water and ice. I don't think that's going to happen, but it would be so awesome. And even if it's not, I could always throw in some ice moves. 2 new things they announced. One was this thing for Pokemon in your PC. There's a special like little mini world where you can go and get their HP boosted, have them find you really cool items, train them. So they're not no longer just sitting in your PC doing nothing. You can train the Pokemon in your PC at this really cool place. I think it's called Poke Pelagio. Also, they announced a new online feature. It's called Festival, and it's actually, I'm calling it a mix. In one of the earlier DS games, there was this thing where you'd go to the bottom of the Pokemon Center where all the internet stuff was, and you'd go to this little place with like a festival, and there would be games that you could play. You can interact with other players. And then in Black and White, they had the online feature called the Mall, which was to make use of like the Spot Pass, like the Spot Pass feature and stuff like that. This new one is online, and I'm calling it a combination of those two because it's called Pokemon Festival, and it's kind of a mall/festival feel. You go there, you interact with other players, you earn festival coins that you can again spend at these shops to like raise your Pokemon's HP, to get them raise their HP. It said that train them and get stuff, items, stuff like that. So it's basically a combination of the plaza and the mall. It looks really cool. I'm interested to see it. So also, I don't know if I talked about this last time. Mega Evolution is going to be a thing. I'm really excited about that. I don't think I did because it just came out in the new trailer. I am super excited. Like I said, I was worried about them taking out Mega Evolution because they did do the new thing with the Alpha Z moves. With those, I was like, are we still going to have Mega Evolution? Because that's pretty kind of this awesome thing. We are still going to have Mega Evolution. Not sure how that's going to play out in the game story yet. But that makes me really happy. The only other question I have is with the new format, is there going to still be a gym challenge, or is the island challenge going to replace the gym challenge? I kind of think if they don't have the gyms, it's kind of maybe ruin Pokemon for some people. So I really hope they still do the gyms. I don't know yet. They haven't really said. They've always been talking about the Pokemon challenge and stuff like that. So, the island challenge. So, hopefully, sooner or later, we will find out if they have the gyms. Also, for those of you DS users who are interested in getting a taste of what Pokemon Sun and Moon will be like before Sun and Moon actually hit shelves in November, there's no need to fear. Pokemon and Nintendo are launching a free Sun and Moon demo starting October 18th. So log on to your DS and check it out. For those of us like me who will be trying out this ultra cool demo, we will also be getting an ultra cool Pokemon. That's right. For those who get the demo for Pokemon Sun and Moon, you will also receive an Ash Greninja to use in the demo, which you can then transfer to your Pokemon Sun or Pokemon game once it comes out. Yay! I'm not totally sure what exactly Ash Greninja is. I've been watching Pokemon on Netflix, and they haven't uploaded that season, so I'm really excited. So I will totally be getting the demo and trying it out. I hope you guys try it out too. If you tried the demo, let me know what you think. Does the demo just make you more excited for this new chapter of Pokemon? I can't wait to try it out. Also, this Friday, a new DS game is coming out. Disney's Magical World 2 will finally be hitting shelves after almost being out for a year overseas. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm a huge Disney freak, and I loved the first Disney's Magical World. I'm actually playing it right now until the new one comes out. So I really cannot wait for the second one. There's supposed to be more characters, more worlds, more items, basically more fun and more challenging. So I will do a review for Disney's Magical World 2, and I'll also have to explain a little bit more about Disney's Magical World in that video. So I cannot wait. So that is today's Michigan Girl Pop Culture News. If you like this video, let me know by liking, subscribing, or commenting below. I will see you guys next week with another weekly news update. Until then, stay safe, take care, and for all you Star Wars fans, don't go away. In a few minutes, I'll be posting this week's Star Wars Rebels recap, along with some Star Wars news. So, take care, and I'll see you guys next Sunday. Bye!